if she's ready, I think we can switch over to Parbati Pandey, who is actually from Central Department of Library and Information Science at Tribhuvan University, to talk about using scripts to automate harvesting and web indexing of records, which is, I think, a good complement to what we've just heard.
Thank you, Damien sir. Good evening to everyone present here. Respected chairperson, panelists, master of the ceremony, and all the participants. I am Parbati Pandey, Assistant Professor, Central Department of Library and Information Science, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. My presentation is on the topic about use of AutoScript in VuFind software. Let's get started. In my introduction part, most of the information seekers are habituated to use habituated to sort the information in digital form, and they mostly use the search engine, like with different types of databases and have URL. VuFind is being introduced a search engine where all kinds of documents can be searched from single interface like Google. Majority of library professionals in developing countries like Nepal are from the background of humanities and management discipline with very little bit knowledge of ICT skills. So they are habituated to using GUI-based applications like Microsoft Windows. And it found that difficult in use the command line interface with configuring a software. In this situation, there is a need of using shell script for the configuration of databases as VuFind. Commonly and repeatedly used commands such as cache clearance, indexing, reindexing, solar core creation are taken into consideration for shell script. Pre-test and post-test were also done among the participants of digital library courses training. We found that majority of the participants found the ease of using the command created through shell script. The objectives of this presentation, the general objective of this presentation is to use shell script in VuFind for major repeatedly used functions like indexing, reindexing, harvesting, etc. The specific objectives are to use shell script for harvesting, indexing, reindexing, importing, and cache clearance, and etc. And another two objectives are configuration at the Koha end and VuFind end. VuFind is just like a search engine, and itself will not have any data. It has to be imported and indexed from other databases. Here, Koha with multi-instance used as an example. While working with these databases, a number of shell scripts will be used to eliminate the time-consuming configuration. In this configuration parts, they are divided into three sections: configuration of Koha site and configuration at VuFind site for accessing Koha data, and another one is configuration at VuFind site for harvesting of data from Koha. For configuration of Koha site, we should have to enabling OAI PMS first of all. OAI PMS at Koha site has to be enabled for regularly harvesting data through Koha via cron job. There is also option importing data one time also, but it is not preferable for real life situation. It may be very tedious though. To enabling OAI payments can be enabled by visiting Koha homepage, administration, system preference, and web services. After then, select OAI PMS option. In this page, in this place, we should have to enable OAI PMS and auto update sets, then set immediate item data. After complete this OAI PMS enabling, then we can testing this OAI PMS through Koha opaque URL using this type, and we can see the such type of screen. After enabling OAI PMS, then we can enable Koha REST API through Koha homepage, Koha administration, system preference, and select web server. Then select REST API, then enabling basic authentication and client credentials and anonymous request and public API. After enabling OAI PMS and REST API option, then we can download it, the KPZ file from gtop.com URL, which is mentioned here, and we should install plug for enhancing the speed of Koha. For this, PC should have RAM greater than or equal 8 GB memory. To install a plug, we should run Koha plug enable HealthNet 2 and Koha plug start HealthNet 2, and we should have to service Apache to restart. HealthNet 2 is an instance or collection name for this purpose. It may be different in your case. And then we should enable plugin in Koha administration page. For this purpose, we should edit the Koha conf file under instance name, which here Koha instance name is euro_test is used. Then we have to change 0 to 1, which is which look like this, and then sudo service Apache to restart run. After configure Koha conf file, then will appear Koha administration page plugin button. Then we click manage plugins option. This screen will appear in our computer. After then we should click upload plugin. Then this screen will appear in computer, where we should choose file which is already downloaded, KPZ file. And when we choose file KPZ file, then upload this. After complete all these process, the REST API plugin for Koha for discovery interfaces with disable option looking in the screen. For enable this, click option action button, and there will be seen two options: uninstall and enable. We should have click enable. After then, the REST API plugin file will be enabled. Now, after complete above processing, then we should go to our homepage, select patrons model, and select patron name. I select Mohan Pradhan as a patron name. Then click more button. There we see renew patron, set permission, manage API keys, delete, and other two options in there. We should have select manage API keys option. Then generate a new client ID key pair will appear in the screen. Then after clicking this button, the below screen will appear in our computer where we should place the description name. The description name is item types name like books, journals, other types. I select book here and save the button. After click save button, there will see description API keys for patron name. Here Mohan Pradhan is a patron name. Description books, client ID number, and secret key number. This client ID number and secret key number will be used in Koha REST API.ini file under VuFind. And we should note this client ID number and secret key promptly because we will not be able to see it again. After complete above process, we set up instance.conf file this line, this command line look like this, and run the sudo service apache to restart command line. After completing above Koha configuration, we should assume that VuFind is already being installed here. Here we are going to create new instance like VuFind1 here. For this purpose, click the file to download the script from multi-instance URL and run the script as shown below. And run the multi-instance this command line with new VuFind name like VuFind1 here. And then run this command line, and VuFind1 is a new instance name. Configuration of driver has to be done in VuFind to connect and harvest data from Koha to VuFind. The REST API driver is being used, being latest and having more features. The procedures are divided into three parts. In first step, we are configuring the environment setup under by this command line: VuFind home, user, local VuFind, and another VuFind local directory, home, VuFind1, VuFind local. VuFind1 is new instance name, Susan already mentioned. And another step is create VuFind import and mark mapping files. By this command line, copy import.properties and mark local.properties files from user local VuFind local import path to home VuFind1 VuFind local import, which VuFind is a new instance name. Another step is copy rest.ini file and multi-packend.ini files from user local VuFind config VuFind path to home VuFind1 VuFind local config VuFind. And another step is configuration of import, mark, and driver files. For this process, rename and edit import properties and mark local .properties files as import home import HealthNet properties and the default screen of import.properties file look like this. Solar.core.name mentioned here, biblio, solar.index.properties are mark property, mark host URL mentioned here, biblio update. This three line will we compare through import HealthNet.properties. Here, solar code name mentioned here, mark HealthNet.properties, and biblio name mentioned here, solar VuFind underscore solar VuFind1 mentioned like this. And under mark local HealthNet.properties, we should edit in source types, collection name, institution, buildings, ID, and pattern map. Again, another step is rename and edit Koha rest.ini and multi-package ini files in the directory home, VuFind1, VuFind local config, VuFind is. And Koha rest.ini rename to healthnet.ini file. And healthnet, under healthnet.ini, 3 fields has to be changed. One is host, another one is client ID, and another one is client secret. Host name is Koha opaque URL IP address URL, and client ID and client secret is key extracted from Koha interface staff interface, which is already noted slide number 18 through Koha patron name manage API keys. And under multi-backend.ini file, we should manage drivers. There are drivers HealthNet1, I mentioned Koha, and again drivers with HealthNet1. And our config.ini file, we should manage the driver multi-backend, and we should uncomment method with the database. After completing above all the process, we are going to delete collection from the VuFind. Here you can see under VuFind one instance, HealthNet Nepal, DSpace collection of HealthNet Nepal 1 and HealthNet 2. There are 3 types of collection mentioned in this screen. Now I'm going to delete instance HealthNet 2 or Koha record through shell script. In this process, there are 3 steps. First of all, we should delete Solar index, and then cache clearance and folder deletion. Now the command below used to delete Solar index. We should run solar delete to find one.ss mark. After run this command line, the screen look like this. The script takes the record format to delete as a parameter, so we need to pass it with the type of record to delete. For Koha, it is mark, and DSpace for the DSpace. The only modification needed to be made is to change the line core biblio. Here, core biblio. Here we use solar underscore VuFind one because we working under VuFind one instance. All the shell scripts, all the scripts are auto script of deletion of solar index. Once the record is deleted through solar, it is better to clear the cache by running the shell script command .delete cache files.sh. Under this, shell script for cache clearance is given below. This type. Once the solar is deleted, the harvested folder of Koha has also to be deleted with the command line delete harvest folder and HealthNet1 Koha.sh, and the instance name of Koha is Koha underscore euro underscore test is the Koha instance name, which is displayed by HealthNet1. The command line of this the shell script for folder deletion is given below. Here the environment variables are uncommented, and also mark records of Koha also uncommented in the shell script. After deletion, the mark record from VuFind instance, then we see DSpace collection of HealthNet Nepal only seen. to import the record, Koha record using shell script by run this command line harvest underscore VuFind1.sh. When run this command, the record will be processing, and here now importing home VuFind1, VuFind local harvest Koha, Koha underscore guru underscore test is the Koha instance name, and this is the process of indexing, harvesting the data from Koha. Now, after harvesting the data, Koha collection name or instance names will appear to HealthNet Nepal to in here. After completing our process, the conclusion is that VuFind software is a kind of search engine that has huge features. It saves the time of information seekers by providing all the information in the single interface or URL, and it also saves the time and effort of the librarian or system manager by using such type of auto script which may be easy to use. All of our processes were tested in HealthNet Nepal, and shell scripts are developed by Mr. Demenkas, VuFind software developer and director, Professor Dr. Mohanraj Pradhan, HealthNet Nepal, Mr. Maria Pillai Jayakantan, Sri Lanka. I acknowledge all of respected persons. Thank you.
Thank you. So we do have some time for questions and comments. I did see there was a little bit of discussion in the chat about the memory requirements for Plaque, which is interesting. Also, the suggestion that if the credentials in your presentation were real, they should definitely be changed, but I'm pretty confident that that was a test instance and all is safe.
Thank you. I think it may take. I think I have not knowledge about the memory of frame. I hope Mohanraj Pradhan sir or Demenska sir will reply the answer about it.
According to my experience, more the RAM, it is better. So we have tested in two computers. One has the 2 GB RAM and one has the 8 GB RAM with the same processors. And we found that 8 GB RAM is functioning well as compared to the 2 GB RAM. So we had written this thing in our presentations. So this is the one. And the other thing is that whatever has been changes have been made, it is done in these instances, and that instances may be different in other cases. So some of the things which we have changed is only for this instance and for this experiment purpose only, and in other cases it may be the different one which Ira Mezila has asked the questions. No, and regarding the error handling in shell script, we have not found it any error because we have tested it in so many places and we did not found any error by using this shell script. So we recommend to the professional libraries to use the shell script instead of the command lines, those where the who do not have the knowledge in running the command line and who do not feel well in running the command line.
I could also add to that that certainly it is possible in these shell scripts to detect certain error conditions and act upon them conditionally. One of the things that came up during some of our collaboration around automation was we discovered that there was a problem with the batch mark import script in that what it's supposed to do is only move files into the processed folder if they successfully import, and it's supposed to leave them behind if they fail. At least that's the way the XML import has always worked. But we discovered that the mark import just moved everything into the processed file whether or not it had successfully imported, and that was, of course, a problem. But I was able to add some error detection to these scripts so that now it will only move files that have successfully imported, leave ones that cause errors behind, which is then helpful for troubleshooting. I should also say that this change was made for both the Unix and Windows versions of the scripts, but it's a whole lot easier to write scripts in Unix. So I'm glad that that's generally the environment of choice. The shell scripting language there is much more robust than Windows batch files. That seems to be all of the questions and comments so far. So I think we can probably wrap up a few minutes early, but it's not too late if you still have something you'd like to talk about. I should also remind everyone that there are still some slots open for lightning talks tomorrow. So if you have something quick you would like to share, please do sign up and you can get to that document by going to vufind.org, clicking on the conference banner and clicking the conference planning document link from there. And I see that there is a new question. So yes, please feel free to ask. So the question is pointed at Array and is about finding a line dedupe config file related to nominatum, and was wondering what it does. What is the context? Where does this file live? So this is related to geo-coordinate indexing in the dedupe software. In Record Manager, yes.
Hi, yes, indeed. The Record Manager has some built-in support for nominatim, for geocoding and getting the coordinates into records for cases where there is like a geographic topic or things like that, where you can try to get the coordinates from. It has some limitations, particularly because of metadata issues, and depends on getting good enough data to be able to provide good enough results, which is unsurprising, of course. But some formats do it better, and there is also some historical package that often interferes with properly geocoding the records. But yes, we are using it all the time, and it provides fairly good results, provided you limit the area it takes the hits from. So if we stay inside Finland, say, for our records, the results are quite good. Otherwise, you can find something like Finland from the middle of Canada or something, and things start to get really funky quite quickly. So yeah, we do that, and we also use it to get polygons for for the locations, so that we can have a better matching with searches that include areas. And also, since we have this sort of street view feature in Finland that allows the user to search by his own location, it's important to have the sort of polygons available, because there are a lot of areas that are really wide or really long, and maybe near the user, even if the center point is far away. So does it take the nameplate from tag 651? I need to remind myself, so just a little moment. It asks for locations from the records. Truth is, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I need to check it out. But I think at the moment we are mostly using geocoding with leader records that are coming from the museums, and they have a sort of a more structured field or piece of XML for conveying information about the location. So it's much easier to take the information from that, provided it's coded properly. So it would be possible to take the information from 651 mark tag, but often it's kind of not enough. It can be, well, it depends on the case, of course. If you have cool, well catalog data with precise locations, that might be working really nice. But for us, and from what I've been testing, that hasn't been the case. So yeah, your mileage will vary. Now I'm not sure if it's built in right now into Record Manager to get the data from the mark fields. I'll need to verify that and maybe shuffle things around a little bit.
All right, well, thank you for the impromptu geo discussion. And with that, we are just about out of time. So I will wish everyone a good day, and hope to see you tomorrow for one more talk, the lightning talks, and the road mapping session. So thanks again. Apologies for the technical issues today, and see you all soon.